Now in previous part, as you can see that we did something like this. So if I type in a name and hit click button, you can see that we store a data with the key of name, and each time you type in something it just overwrites. But we don't exactly want that. What we actually want is we want to store we want to create a new key each time we click on the button, and it should create a new user and store the value right over there. Now for doing that there are multiple methods. Let's just work with the basic one first. So here you can see that in with this code, what we actually want to do is what we are actually doing over here is, with our root element we are creating a child with the name of name, and we set the value to name. Now instead of creating this child, what we can do is just type in push. All right, and let's run the app again and let's see what it does with our code. All right, so I'm going to delete this and let's check again. All right, so our app is running now. I'm going to click the button. Now you can see that once I click the button it creates user one. All right, now this is actually what you should be careful with. As you can see that instead of storing it in the root, what we have done is we created a child named user one. Now each time you click on it, it's going to create the push is going to create a random key and will store the value with the name that we enter right over here. Now if I type in something else and let's click again, you can see that inside this child, which is the user one, here you can see that we have already included it. It created a new key and it stores right over here. Now many guys, if you have worked with MySQL or SQL database, you guys may be thinking, why not create a primary key for a new user? Well, there are benefits of using this push in Firebase, as it stores the timestamp inside it. So each time you create a new child, let's say I type in random person name, all right, and I click on it, you can see that it stores right below it, because the key of this object contains the timestamps. So each time you create a data, it will be stored right beneath the previous one. All right, so that's one way to store the data using this push. Now if you may see that if I remove this child from here, just keep it to the root directory and run the app again. Let's wait for it to run. And now if I click again, you can see that instead of adding it to the child, it just adds it to the root element. So that's how this root link database instance works. So I hope you guys are understanding it a bit by bit. Now the next thing that we want to do is store more complex data like we did in previous parts. Like we created a user and then user 2 and stored name and email inside that. Now that's what we actually want to do with our app. So we will start working on that kind of function in the next part, and then we will move on how to retrieve data. So see you guys.